of the questions that have come, actually, let me start with Carol.
Yes.
The biggest question, and so many people asking that question, ukiwa uko na mchezaji kwa hizi trials and the cohort and stuff, ninakuja nalipa ndio niingie? Ama saa ile unaniambia scholarship ndio hii sasa. Unajua kuna ile unaambiwanga scholarship ndio hii na kupatia 100,000 na tunaita scholarship, lakini sasa wewe utajilipia 4 million.
Right.
Hiyo ingine. Those are the most questions that I'm seeing kwa mtandao. So how does it work?
Okay, so the way we run our program, we run it in 3 legs. So there's this high school program, which for the players who are here, there was no cost to them at all. What we are now doing is, once we find the slot, then we will then know, maybe the school will agree to pay their visa, for example. Maybe the school might pay for their ticket. So it all depends on the conventions, but at least assured education, that one is, we'll get it done for them. So, but that's one, and it's all part of the conversation. Then 2, we also had a pro-athlete program. And by pro-athlete, that's now when tukafanya kazi na KANU tukasema, listen, let's pull together professional athletes that we know. We even went and watched the Mathare United game, tukaona game ya wakiwa na Sharks. I think we watched another one. It was how much we played against. Yeah. So just so we can see who can we pull as well from the Premier League, for example, young players who still want, who have a thirst for education and still want. And we were able to identify 3. Of course, we can't disclose their names yet because we are still in conversations with them and trying to close the deals with the different universities in the US. Now, there was a third part about the program, and that was now the private placement. With the private placement, there was a small fee that parents were required for them to now come and have one-on-one interactions with the coaches who are here. Now, with that small fee that they paid, and it wasn't a lot, I had people saying it was a lot, but they paid 12,000 shillings, 12K. With that 12K, they were able to have conversations with the coaches. They were given reality of where your son can be placed based on the skill that they have seen and based on his education. Makarasi yake ndio hapa na kupatindamweka hapa.
You're saying there are those who came, the third tier, there are those who came, they were not part of the teams, the schools that were being selected, but they heard about this program.
Correct.
And majority wale wananiambia mimi niko na mtoto nataka aingie. So those are the ones that...
So those would now fall under the private placement. Now those private placements, it works in this way.
Yes.
If your child is very, very brilliant, so like over the week, that weekend, we had about 25 players who came and registered with us for the private program. We had children who had straight A's. As in kila kitu ni A, math, biology, physics, English, Kiswahili, kila kitu ni straight A. Uyo, we can find a school that will give him 50% academic scholarship. Again, most American universities will not give you 100% because we're an international. You'll find the ones that will give you, of course, but most of them will give you 50 academic, 50 on sports.
Now, Carol,
yes.
You have guys in school, they're in high school still. Wengine wamemaliza. How is your program like? How is your training program? How are you able to bring to now plan your program?
So the way we are planning our program is one based on the Kenyan curriculum so the academic year ends in November, December. So because most of these high school players are playing actively in high school and probably with Teams Zamta or some other clubs outside school. So we are targeting like now in December, hopefully December 12th, when we have our next tournament, schools will be closed, they'll come together as their school. Or maybe they will even expand it and bring in clubs, private clubs, ZJZ compete, right? Now, from then, we will then select the best of that tournament. And now that's now KANU's docket. Select the best of that tournament. Every April, we will have another college showcase. We're bringing out the coaches, wakuja wa assess how wamekuja, because for the tournament, there's no cost. Nobody's paying. We are depending on our sponsors to make it happen for us come every December, right?
Carol, that's a nice one. Sorry to cut you short on that. But if you look at our system, we grew up, personally growing up in the industry, in the sports industry, we always knew, and there's always this joke that we used to say, that in every Premier League team, there is somebody from Mathare United.
Of course.
Now, the conversation in the last 2 years has changed to be that in every team, and by the way, you can do the list, you have a product of Kariobangi Sharks. So you have a very good scout with you, and I want to throw the question to KANU. How do you now ensure that you pick, in this program, you pick out the talents that are meant for the program, and at the same time, it does not interfere with your work at Kariobangi Sharks, because we've seen, I think Sharks has the most babies, if I can call that, the most babies in the league. Ni team iko na watoto wanaweza kuchenga alafu wanakuchekelea.
Yeah, true. Sharks in average age ni 20. So what we are also doing, basically, wacha niseme kama Kariobangi Sharks,
yes,
tunaanza identify hizi talents ikiwa 11, 12, and we are in agreement with these schools kwamba ukiwa 11, 12 ndio pia masomo yaambatana na mchezo, na try kuambia kwamba niko na uhusiano sawa na mwalimu Mr. Cosmas na Bungolo wa St. Joseph.
Yes.
Lakini jaribu ukifanya KCPE ujaribu pate E-Max. Na yeye pia atajaribu kupatia scholarship, ukienda St. Joseph utasoma St. Peter's, Kakamega ama wapi. So naanza kuinstill element ya kusoma kwao wakiwa primary school. Then in 2-3 years wako high school already. So element ya kusoma ilikuwa kwao na talent iko. So una make sure mwa place maybe Kakamega, mwa place St. Joseph, mwa place St. Peter's, Jamhuri, Dagoretti. Ukiangalia Dagoretti walikuwa wameenda nationals.
Yes.
80-90% walikuwa ni Kariobangi Sharks youth team. Walikuwa under 13, under 15, now under 17. So for the two to be a combination that works, at least you also need to serve as a mentor. And hence why utapata that I'm always each year giving to 20-24 players from high school a chance to play in the Premier League.
Okay, that's very. Nataka sasa tuongee na anybody who can tell me their aspirations. Hii scholarship, what do you want to study? Ukifika huko, ukipewa choice, what would you like to study? Kuna mtu anaweza nipatie hiyo story? Na mwongee English of the nose. Unajua kwa US ni English of the nose. Tulikuwa na jamaa hapa alikuwa anaitwa Wahiga Mwaora. Tulikuwa tunasema anaitwa, one of my bosses anamuita English of the nose. Yeah, because anaongea ile kizungu deep. Nani ana mtu wa NYS kwanza mpatie ni microphone. Wao ndiye amepitia zote. Hakuna kitu hajapitia.
Naanda yeye ni pro.
Kabisa. So aspirations zako, ni nini ungependa kustudy? What would you like? Because football, Kanu will tell you, football is a very short career. Maximum, unless when Ronaldo is just at 20 years. 12, 13 years, kama ulianza at 20. The moment you hit 32, 33, unaanza kudip. So in the future, what would you like to study?
Statistics.
Gedafu.
Ni pia ni
siwezi ongea ingine. Mimi anything ilikuwa na hesabu, hata university niliwaambia wachana na mimi. Sitaki hiyo story. Anybody else? Jagol. Patia Jagol microphone aniambie. What would you like to study?
Oh, so currently I study statistics.
Yes.
University of Eldoret, but maybe nikapatia chance naweza penda kumejor in IT or maybe computer science. Naweza kuwa poa.
IT computer science.
Nasikia the brains we have here.
My friend. Hapana mchezo. Mzee wa Lang'ata. Ndio huyo sasa. What would you like to...
Before muulize swali Mike, unawezaje kubalance now that you in form 4 Nawe kubalance football na masomo?
Balance as in una manage your time. Unapata sometimes games teacher dai mwende games anakuwa na conversation na principal, anasema vijana wako na tournament on Saturday, na bado hiyo Monday yenyewe mna follow up na exam pre-mock hivi mock. Sasa bidi mcancel hiyo training mwende mfocus na exam kidogo juu wanasemanga masomo mbele michezo nyuma kidogo.
Yeah, juu pia grade ni muhimu according to Kanu pale nasema pia grade ni muhimu.
Yeah, so inabidi manage your time na at least mfocus sana kwa exam, kwa masomo ndo at least mbalance hiyo.
Kuna msomani hapo juu nilimuuliza hiyo shati anaivaa with a lot of pride yani. Hebu mpatieni microphone. Yani
hata mimi nilivaa leo asubuhi nikienda gym. I wore my Manchester United. My trainer was like,
when hardcore wogo.
My trainer aliniambia you are very confident, nikamwambia die hard. Ama
so ukasema tu uchome tu hiyo shati na jasho.
You just a proud. No, ilikuwa show off. Ilikuwa show off.
Ni sawa tu. Msomani kuliendaje weekend? Kwanza niambie the last 2 games. Nataka unichambulie tu kama fan wa Manchester. Kumeendaje hizo game mbili?
It has been a difficult Mekuwa difficult moments but hopefully we'll bounce back.
Hopefully mta bounce back.
Our players waamke. Hakuna nini, they have to wake up. Sai Rashford 9 games akona how many goals, how many assists? Amerudi ni kama ameanza rudi kuandika vitabu. I don't know what's happening.
Ndio hiyo.
Team viewer.
Musiogope, kuna kwanga hivyo. I want to take the final submissions from Kanu kwanza,
yes.
So that because tunataka kuingia kumaliza show. Yani time inakimbiaga mbio.
Na hujafanya quick fire.
Quick fire inakuja, nasikia kuna mtu wako kwa line. Kanu, what will be your final submissions? Because there are so many people with so many questions on how to balance books na football and then to succeed in both. We have seen people who have succeeded in both. I mean, our captain Olunga is a good example that he excelled on the pitch na kwa class pia alikuwa sawa. So what is your word to these guys so that uambie unaweza balance masomo na games and these opportunities will still come your way?
Yeah.
First of all, ni hakuna time nzuri kama ile uko high school because it's only 4 years at the end of the day. Na ukijaribu kuangalia how players make decision in the pitch, sometimes it's based on their academic levels. In what sense? I was privileged that like this year I have like 7 or 8 players ambao wako either in a higher learning institution. Now it's easier because masomo ndio una have time ya kudu the subjects and the exams and everything, but in the footballing, once you are in an agreement with the teams and the coaches whom you have in the field, wanaweza kugawanya time yako. Ndio hence why unaona kuna shule kama Kakamega, St. Peter's, Dagoretti, principals wanaelewa that the essence of the talent of course sometimes depend on how good you are academically.
Okay. Caro, as we move towards sending the first cohort to the US, steps between now and them settling at either colleges or universities in a minute, how do they get there?
So the first thing, of course, is to have a lot of conversations with the individual players and their parents or guardians to know what do they want to study, what kind of weather conditions can they handle, is there a particular area of the US they would like. Then once we do that, we then put together a profile, because we did interviews with each one of them, put together the profile, we send them out to the US. Then we then identify who has what slots for this particular player based on his grade and skill level. From then, once they get an acceptance letter from the school, we process their visa, their tickets, and they're out. I might just want to mention, just before I wrap out, yes. Last year when Gabe came to visit for one of the Mizminyi trips, we came to the Karibangi Sharks clubhouse, yes. In Buruburu. And there was one of his players, Ken Chalo. Ken Chalo alikuwa amepata scholarship, lakini makarasi ilikuwa imekwama. So he was like, can you guys help? So I said, of course we can. And Gabe was like, who's the name of your coach, or who did you get the barua from the school? Akambiwa jina, one phone call. Yes. He's here to testify. Chalo can even testify. One phone call, within 2-3 months he was out of the country.
Wow.
Nice.
So we were able to make sure that wherever it had gotten stuck, through Gabe's network in America, his scholarship came through, barua ikakuja, visa, ticket, out he went.
Thank you, Caro.